Hi, my name is John.
And my name is Lloyd.
And we're the hosts of The Pint,
a pop culture podcast.
Lloyd, if you had to tell any of the people out there that might be listening to The Pint for the first time about anything unsavory or disconcerting we might do on the show, what would you warn them about?
Well, sometimes we drop spoilers, and sometimes we swear like motherfucking sailors.
Fuck yeah, we do. You heard it from him. You've been warned.
Listen in.
Now, wait, Ninja, wait. Why don't we speak like civilized men? You are a ninja, a hired assassin. Why don't you come to work for me? A position has become vacant.
I'm not for hire.
Then what were you doing working for Frank Landers?
He was my friend. You killed him, and now I'm gonna kill you.
Welcome to a brand new episode of The Pint, a pop culture podcast, S.F.A. 80s edition science fiction fantasy action, all from the 1980s, all B, C, D, Z grade stuff. My name is John.
Yeah, I don't think I've done one of these since Runaway. My name is Lloyd.
And I'm Joe, and I've done a few of these.
Yeah, Joe's done a few of these. Joe is like our ninja, what would we call him? Our resident ninja expert here, because he was here for the Octagon with Julio from the Contrarians. And as you know from the Octagon, every time you say the word ninja, you have to say it like this: ninja, ninja, ninja. All right, let's talk about 1981's. Is it 81, Manster?
Well, there's some question about that. I have it being released in 81 and 82 in different places. Started in Germany and France in August of 81, Arizona in October of 81, and then the release in LA of April of 82.
Okay, all right.
Whichever one of those you want to pick.
Well, whatever year this fucking thing came out in, it's early 80s. Let's talk about Enter the Ninja.
Come on! Let's do this together!
Yeah, so like I said, let's just go with 81. Let's say October, since that was the U.S. release. I also have multiple dates in October, so can't trust any of it.
I had the same problem. I could go with my birthday or just October 23rd. It depends on which side you're looking on.
This is right on the cusp of when Box Office Mojo was good too. Now it goes back to 77. But when we first started doing this, you couldn't go any further than 1982.
I thought it was still 82. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, it's down further. Distributed by the Cannon Group. We've done a few Cannon films, and they do their low to mid budget genre films they're so good at. Directed by Menachem Golan.
Bless you.
Thank you. And we'll get into that a little, but he's an Israeli film producer, screenwriter, director, half owner of the Cannon Group. His parents were Jewish immigrants from the Russian Empire, and he actually served as a fighter pilot in the Israeli Air Force.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
In the Israeli War of Independence, which I've learned more about lately. Coming up with his directorial, film studies, he was at one point an assistant to Roger Corman. And he produced so many Cannon films. I mean, his name is on so many films. It's you can't even name them all in a way. But you'll recognize Masters of the Universe, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, Delta Force, Runaway Train, Death Wish sequels, not the original. With a story and screenplay by Dick Desmond. Couldn't find a thing about this guy other than he did the screenplay. And based on a story by Mike Stone, also credited with the fight choreography and stunt coordination of this film. He is an American karate champion, choreographer, stuntman, actor, author, motivational speaker. He's the man. He also started filming this, but that got switched up. So produced by MGM for $4 million as a part of a multi-project film. And also I heard less than that. I've heard like 1.5 million. So the numbers are all over the place, depending on where you look.
Fuzzy math.
Yeah, fuzzy math. But I guess there was a multi-project film and TV deal with the Cannon Group and MGM. And this was originally, I'll get into it now, it was supposed to star Mike Stone, who created the story. And it did for a little bit, and it had the director Emmett Alston when they started filming. So they started filming in the Philippines in January of 1981. They also filmed in Tokyo. And they ended filming in March of 81. But I guess after, was it like 3 days of dailies, Golan just wanted to fire Emmett Alston because he thought it was too boring and too dull. So he took over. Emmett Alston, from Little Ninjas, The 9 Deaths of the Ninja, and Demon Warp. I guess those are his big films, if any of you are familiar with that.
No.
They sound pretty fun to me, but I don't know.
9 Deaths is another Canon movie that I'm familiar with. It's actually really satire, though. It's like really campy and not a serious ninja movie.
Oh, really?
It's weird.
Never seen any of them. But yeah, Golan took over, and then he replaced Mike Stone with Frank Nero, the aging Italian actor.
Frank Nero, did anybody else feel this vibe in the very beginning? The first scene when he takes off his ninja mask, he looked like Liev Schreiber. Did you feel that? Do you feel that vibe, like Liev Schreiber with a mustache, kind of blockheady guy? I don't know.
Yeah,
I saw that big time.
Yeah, I could get he looked different to me. Like once he took the mask off, he had a whole different look than with just the mask on.
He had a whole different voice too.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, we can talk about that. His speech was overdubbed quite a bit because he couldn't quite nail the Western accent that they wanted him to, and what I mean by his like Texas accent. Yeah. So, and he was, I guess, kind of pissed about that as well. So let's see. The legacy of this film basically is after its release, there became a boom of ninja-related films. Other people might say, what was that other one you said? Octagon.
Yeah, the Octagon, yeah.
Yeah, but other people credit that, I guess. But
that was first,
this
but
is
wasn't
really
as popular.
Right. So this one here, and another interesting little tidbit is the guy who played, not really Nemesis, but he just played the bad ninja, I guess. Hasegawa is, Joe will talk about him, Sho Kasugi. He became more popular than Frank Nero's character and basically launched his career too. Yeah,
Sho Kasugi was like a video store magnet when you were a kid.
Yeah.
You saw the poster for Prayer for Death and you're like, I've got to, like, it's just the poster for Prayer for Death is like him in the ninja costume and it's all ornate with like silver, like kind of decorations on it. And you're like 7 or 8 years old and you're like, I've got to get that. And then immediately after that, I'm going to discover what jerking off is all in one night. I'm going to do it all.
That is a big night.
Big night.
So one last thing is when he became so popular, when they released this on VHS, he replaced Nero on the VHS cover.
I don't remember what the VHS cover for this looks like. I bought the Blu-ray to watch this, and the Blu-ray cover is like a painted
Is that the Kino Lorber one?
The Kino Lorber one, yeah. And it's got Nero on the cover. And then strangely, like in the background, it doesn't have Sho Kasugi. It has one of the red ninjas from the beginning, which is just odd because the red ninjas, like, look, G.I. Joe taught us all something. The red ninjas are like the fucking, the red shirts in Star Trek. That's it.
So that's about it. That's what I got. What do we have for cast, Joe?
Assemble your crew.
So as we talked about, Franco Nero as Cole. It was interesting. I thought it was a pretty good dubbing job at first. I was thinking they must have dubbed it, but I've seen it so many times I didn't notice it until now. So it's actually a pretty good job after ADR. I mean, he's the original Django. He's an Italian actor, a million credits. Showed up in Django and Chained. I just when I look through someone's filmography, I look for random things that look interesting. He was in Die Hard 2.
He was the bad. He was the colonel that they were looking to free. The whole movie was about like that, like Cuban colonel, because I watched that like about 2 years ago at Christmas time. And I was like, fuck, this guy looks familiar. Yeah, it's Franco Nero. Yeah.
And there's some movie with Telly Savalas called Redneck. He was also a voice in Cars 2, and he was the Pope in The Pope's Exorcist.
Yes, that's right. I love that movie.
Okay.
But also, and John, he was uncredited as Jesus in The Visitor. Did we discuss that when we watched The Visitor? I don't remember that.
We did, yes.
We did.
Yes.
Is that a S.F.A. 80s?
Oh, God, no. That was a...
77.
No, that was 80. That was that 70s or 80s? That was one we did for Patrick Flanagan on the Patreon. That is
Patreon choice, probably.
Yeah. You could avoid it, Manster. It's batshit insane, though. I'll give you that. Don't ever watch it on Pluto, though. I'm still trying to catch up. I'm still trying to catch my time from that viewing.
You missed the best scene of the movie too.
Yeah. Ugh.
There's more commercial time than actual movie time.
Yes.
It has an insane cast, though. That's one thing it did. So Shokasugi is Hasegawa. I think everyone knows his, ninja profile. I guess right after Enter the Ninja, he did The Master. Remember that TV show where he was the bad guy in that with Lee Van Cleef and Tim Van Patten?
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I remember it. Yeah.
That was probably my first foray into ninjas because I was not old enough to watch Enter the Ninja until a couple of years later. So that's the first time I saw him. And Lee Van Cleef was hilarious because every scene of him fighting was a guy in a skull cap. And then like he did the ninja thing where they climb up walls and it took him like 30 minutes. And so the other, because he won the Ninja 3, The Domination, Revenge of the Ninja, right? The trilogy, Rage of Honor, Pray for Death, all the... all his canon films. Interesting enough, he wasn't in either American Ninja movie with Michael Dudikoff, which I think are actually the best canon ninja movies.
Well, we'll be doing American Ninja at some point. I've already decided that one because I don't know. In all honesty, if I've ever seen American Ninja, I'm just familiar with it. As a matter of fact, I was telling Manster before we started this, if you had held my face to the fire before doing this episode, before watching this movie, whether I'd ever seen this movie or not, I would have said, sure, of course I have. I've seen Revenge. I had never seen Ninja 3 before me and Joey did it for this show a month or so ago. I really don't think I've ever seen Enter the Ninja before. Watching it today, because nothing was familiar other than knowing that it was about a white ninja costumed white guy ninja. I thought that this is going to bring up some childhood memories. Absolutely nothing. Did nothing for me. So I think this is my first view.
And we have it's another Snake Eyes origin story, just like the Octagon, right?
Yes.
And then we have Susan George as Marianne. She actually has a pretty good filmography for doing all these crappy movies in the 80s. She was in Straw Dogs with Dustin Hoffman, movie with Michael Caine called Jigsaw Man, and was also was married to Simon McCorkindale.
Manimal and fucking what was
Jaws
his name?
3.
Jaws 3, but I'm trying to think it was Fitzroyce. Fitzroyce and Jaws 3. Remember Manster? He swims he swims backwards into the shark's mouth because everybody in that movie does that. Yeah.
Let me just ease into your Jaws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to bring up something about Susan George real quick because I'm afraid I'm going to forget it when we're talking about the movie. Mm-hmm. In the movie, when Cole shows up to the house for the first time and she pulls the shotgun out on him.
Yeah.
My favorite bit is how he disarms her and then grabs her from behind and then clearly grabs her tit.
Oh, they both copped a feel in that scene.
He didn't have to. He could have he's a ninja too, by the way. So he should be able to disarm anybody, let alone a smaller woman with a gun. He disarms her, he spins her around, he puts her in a reverse bear hug, and then his left hand just gets nipple and tit, and he is almost rubbing it. It's so fucking brazen.
So,
the husband is watching from above.
Yeah.
Well, like Sam never watches with me, and she just sat there with me while I watched it, and it was also her Sunday fun day, so she had a lot of questions, and she's like, he just grabbed her boob. He just grabbed her boob. That's so obvious. Okay, so then we have Alex Courtney as Frank Landers. He just did a whole bunch of TV, not a particularly, every kind of action-y TV show from the 70s and 80s. He's a Hunter, Hill Street Blues, kind of like all that. And I guess his probably biggest movie that he was in would be Looking for Mr. Goodbar, but I don't think he was.
Yeah, I remember that.
One of the sexy guys. I don't know.
Again, to jump into the movie real quick, one of my other favorite scenes in that same scene is after he molests the guy's wife, he goes into the house and the Frank character, they meet up and he says something out loud that nobody would ever say out loud. He goes, "My old war buddy."
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, no, war buddies probably have an unspoken bond. It's like, "Hey there, Mel, war buddy. Remember that time we kicked that baby's head in over in Da Nang?"
Oh my God. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so then we have Christopher George as Venardius.
Not related to Susan George.
No. You'd think they'd be interesting. Anyway, so he's a really serious actor, but his roles that he got paid with are not serious. Lots of TV. Some show called The Rat Patrol. So it's like a Western, probably around the last couple years. El Dorado with John Wayne. I think he just died in that. And then the movie Grizzly, which somebody has seen, I'm sure, in this group.
Oh, we're doing that for Eric Shenebrow asked for that one. We're doing
I saw it a few years ago. It's not good.
Well, get ready to watch it again, bitch.
I thought it was good. I remember going to watch it thinking it was good, but it wasn't.
And I'm just going to zip through these other guys because it's not really super important. But Will Hare is Dollars. I point him out because he was in Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Back to the Future.
Oh,
the old guy. And Konstantin Gregory, who played a Russian in just about every movie with Russians except for Hunt for Red October. And he was still doing movies. This is Mr. Parker, the English guy. He's doing Wonder Woman and King's Man and all these, still acting.
Who said I was worried about you killing Mr. Parker? I just want to say, Joe, that you just saying that just blew my mind when you said that guy who played Dollars was in Back to the Future. Because as I watched this movie, I just kept saying, this old guy that's weirdly hanging out with him through this whole movie, I cannot place him. And the second you said Back to the Future, I placed him. He is the guy who owns the tree farm that Marty goes back to in 1955. And now I see his face. It's amazing. Yeah, he's the tree farmer.
Oh, good call.
Yeah.
And Dale Ishimoto as Komori, the head ninja, and he was in Ninja 3, Beverly Hills Ninja. And he did a voice on Rambo the cartoon and Mr. T the cartoon, which is why I listed
Rambo the cartoon.
Dude, the Rambo cartoon, the theme song was Rambo and the Forces of Freedom.
Well, every time he was about ready to get serious, he tied the headband just like in the movie.
Yeah.
And then last I have Zaki Noi is the Hook, just because he was a cool character.
Yeah, I was wondering if you'd say him.
Yeah, the redheaded Hook guy. Yeah. It's very bizarre.
And Sam's like, "What's his accent?" And I kept telling him he's Israeli. He's like, "No, that's not it. It's like he's Dutch." I'm like, "No, he's Israeli. That's an Israeli accent."
All right, let's jump into this movie. We start off with essentially any old day at Ninja Academy U.
We just waste ninjas left and right.
This scene is hilarious because it's presented to us as if the white ninja, our main character Cole, is being chased through like a glade kind of environment by a black ninja, Shokazugi, and then a grouping of red ninjas. And as he's going through this gauntlet, he's slicing them in half. He's stabbing them through the stomach. It's not filmed smartly because he's clearly stabbing them through the body,
murdering them.
One guy he cuts across the mouth out of a tree.
Yeah,
the guy falls out of a tree, bleeds to death. He throws a star into one guy's head. Pins his hand to a wall with a dagger, or to a tree with a dagger. He's fucking people up left and right. He finally gets to, after defeating everybody, he finally gets to this main building, and there's a ninja master standing there, and he bows to him, and then he cuts his fucking head off.
I want to talk about this.
Yeah, talk about it.
So, and I watched this twice. Well, I watched that scene twice or three times. So when you see the ninja master, he's clearly standing there watching over things, moving around. And then when he walks up in front of him and bows, he moves his head. He looks directly at Frank Nero, and you see him clearly cut his head off.
Yes.
Clearly.
There is no other way to describe this opening scene as other than completely fucking stupid. It's a cool scene, but when you get to the conceit of what it is, which is essentially a test, because what happens is he goes into this room, he bows down, he takes off his ninja gear, then he's surrounded by all these red ninjas, they bow, the black ninja like gets down on his knees, and then the master comes in holding his fucking head under his arm. and Joe, I gotta ask, in what clever ways do we see that these ninjas didn't really get hurt?
They got like taking out boards out of their knees and. But the one guy did have a cut on the arm. The cutting board. And one guy actually did have a cut on his arm. But they
one guy had a slice on his face. But so we find out at this point that this is like a typical day at Ninja Academy, and this is the graduation of Cole, who is a Westerner who has traveled to from being in the military. He's traveled to I think, where are they? Are they in Japan in this scene? Right, they're in Japan. He's traveled to Japan to learn the ways of ninjutsu, and the master is cool with this, and the red ninjas are cool with this, but Manster, who is not fucking cool with this?
No, the black ninja, he is just totally not cool with it in any way at all. Sho Kasugi. His name is Hasegawa.
Hasegawa is like really pissed off at this affirmative action bullshit. He's like,
that's what it is.
He's like, yes, not a Japanese. He cannot be a ninja. And the other guy, the master's like, chill out, bro. He's passed all the tests. He's
totally a ninja. Yeah. He even knows the 9 levels of power. Come on.
He's edited. He's got enough credits in his transcript to graduate.
Yeah.
He's made it, Joe. Joe, what's up with all the different little hand motions? I've never seen this in a ninja movie before.
No, it's in American Ninja also.
Okay.
They're slightly different. Another thing I just remember about 80s ninjas, they always did this things with their fingers. I mean, I think they're different in American Ninjas, a couple of them, but it must be some kind of, I don't know if it's real. If it's real, it's, some kind of ancient ritual.
He leaves. He ends up leaving the Japanese Ninja Academy. The Shokazuki character, who that's what I'm going to call him through the whole thing, so I'm not going to remember his name. He leaves as well. He's pissed off. He's like, fuck this. There are no more samurai or ninja in Japan. And if I can't start this over, this fucking white motherfucker can't do it. So they leave. We learn very quickly that Franco Nero's not only is his ninja costume white, but he wears all white clothes a lot in this movie. He is a real sharp dresser.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Going back to the test in the Japan Everglades, why would stealthy ninjas be wearing red in the woods?
I thought the same thing.
Yes.
Why would a stealthy ninja be wearing white in the woods? Why would a stealthy ninja be wearing black in the woods during the day? These ninjas all in Ninja 3: The Domination, which we did an episode on a couple weeks ago. There's 2 ninjas in that movie, and they both wear like a camouflage outfit. Those would have been much better.
Right.
I thought the same thing. I thought this maroon motherfucker is in a tree hiding. As you said, in the Japanese in the Keys, essentially, of Japan.
Yeah.
And he's so clear as day in a tree that Franco Nero's character is very easily able to fucking, he doesn't kill him.
There's absolutely no red around. It's just green and sticks.
No.
He also had the drop on him. He let him walk by for like 5 feet by. He could have just totally hacked him up, and then Franco Nero turns around and stabs him.
Yeah, Franco Nero's character had the jump on all these guys.
How about when he threw the sword into one guy's gut and then leaned forward, pulled the sword out, and got another guy coming around?
Yeah, two at once.
Pretty nice.
The only one he couldn't get a real good hold on was Kazugi. Remember, he shot the 2 arrows at him, but way to the right, and
way over to
not even close to his body. Shooting way to the right.
Terrible archer.
Yeah, and Kazugi catches him and breaks him in half.
Yeah, he could have just let him go.
So Cole tells his master that he's going to be traveling to the Philippines to visit an old war buddy, as we mentioned, Frank. He shows up there, and Joe, for sake of ease to get through this plot, what is going on with Frank and his land, and who wants it and why?
So Venarius wants his land, and we find out later it's because lots of oil on it. So he has the hook guy and a couple of big toughs, I guess.
Some henchmen.
Trying to drive all the workers off that have worked there for generations.
That's the whole plot.
Yeah.
That is the whole plot.
Okay, wrap it up.
All right, see ya.
It's over, Johnny. It's over. Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.
Yes, so that is what's going to be happening in this movie. One of the things right off the bat, Manster, have you ever seen a movie, just a question, any action movie ever, with a higher henchman death rate than this movie?
No. By one guy, too.
He kills so many fucking people.
Gotta be 20, at least 20.
I'm going to go 40.
40?
I'm going to go 40.
Oh, right. I'm forgetting about the whole scene at the end.
Yeah.
Easily 40.
He's killing people he could subdue easily. Like that Steve Martin looking guy that comes out at him at the end and pulls the gun on him.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, hold on there, buddy. And then he like stabs him through the heart and throws him in the pool. I'm like, he could have easily just hit that guy in the face.
No, he loves murdering.
Yeah, he does. And at the end of the movie, he makes it a very clear, he says very clearly that killing is only for in defense. It's actually elimination, and you don't have to do it to everybody. Well, he doesn't follow his own fucking rules because he kills everybody. So we go back to Frank's house. They're war buddies. We find out in a flashback later that in Africa, I think they said, they were in some kind of, and they're both the same fucking age, which is hilarious. They're not. It's not like 10 years ago. It's like one day ago. And Cole had been injured, and Frank saves him, and the typical Bubba Gump shit, carries him off to safety. So they have this bond now.
Bubba Gump.
It's true. But Joe, what is the one thing that can get in the way of their bond, and how nice are its tits? Because that we start to get the feeling, right, that maybe the wife is a little bit into the mustache.
Well, first, real quick about the flashback to the war. That they couldn't have been American soldiers, like the French Foreign Legion, because even the Wikipedia page listed it as the South African Border War or the Angolan Border War of Liberation, which was fought for like 20 years. So it's an interesting choice that two Americans are fighting as mercenaries or something in Africa.
Yeah, they're wearing non. I mean, if you want to get into it, they're wearing different camo than our military has ever worn, and they're also wearing like red berets.
I know, because red, it's the best camouflage in the woods.
Right. Again, maroon, the color for when you want to hide in the woods.
It's obviously so Frank can't get it up, and so Marianne is sort of frustrated. Frank drinks too much, and there was a lot of unnecessary character development in this movie, because we only had a long stretch of learning about Frank and Marianne. It could have probably cut off about 20 minutes.
Right. None of that mattered. And then when we learned about the, erectile dysfunction problem, they had something going on from the very first encounter. You already knew she was going to gargle his balls. It was no question.
Yeah. Yeah. And Frank starts to pick up on it too, because he's like, wouldn't you think I was more good looking if I had a mustache? And like what he's drinking, obviously. So we start to have some interceding scenes of like these goons encroaching on Frank's
cockfights.
And there's a fucking impromptu cockfight that was like the most exciting thing that Frank has ever been involved in. Like at one point his people all leave, and then they come back, right? Like they I don't remember how, but they come back to work for him again. And one of them is holding a cock. And I don't mean like the one I've got in my pants. I mean like the rooster. And they walk into the gate, and he's just like, let's go cockfight. And I thought the next scene was going to be like hours later, a big party. They're in a ring. No, they just run over 10 feet, throw a couple of fucking chickens down, and start betting on which one of these motherfuckers is going to eat the other one first. It's fucking hilarious. It's very fucking weird. There's a lot of weird shit in this movie. I want to bring this up because this is a fucking funny fucking line, and I don't want to forget it when we get to this part of the movie. At the end of the movie, towards the end, there's a scene where, what was the guy from Back to the Future's name? Dollars. Cole and Dollars are scouting out like a mall or something. I don't even know where they are, a business office. And they essentially find out, and we'll get to why, but they find out that the Sho Kazuki character is now involved, and they're watching him. And Dollars says to Cole, he's like, "Who is that?" And his answer is, "Somebody I went to ninja school with in Japan." And I don't think it was played for laughs, but it was somebody I went to ninja school with in Japan. It's the funniest shit. I rewound it. I laughed so fucking hard at that.
Well, where'd they get the demo reel? That's what...
the weird demo reel of all of his kills.
Yeah. And here's another thing. If you notice that after Dollars and Cole are in there, they put on hats. They look like the Mario Brothers. Do you think that was the inspiration? Because the Italian guy with a mustache.
I did not notice that. I did notice that. Notice that they do the movie thing of knocking out the guards and changing into their clothes within 2 seconds. Yeah, like they're completely tucked in, looking up to the nines when they knock these guards out and take their clothes. Let's get back over. What is the bad guy's name again?
Hasagawa.
No, the land guy.
Venadius. Mr. Venadius.
Yeah, Mr. Venadius. Let's talk about him and some of his lackeys. Joe, I got to ask you, Mr. Venadius, could he have been played by Bob Fosse, do you think? He was fantastic, this guy.
He's really good. Well, here's my thing about him. When you're saying the octagon, you say ninja, ninja, ninja. No, he's like ninja.
Yeah.
But he yells ninja.
He does. He does. Get me my black ninja.
He's like, ninja, come out. he was as good as you can get in a canon bad guy, yelling, angry, doesn't play around, right? Says what he's going to do.
He was pretty lame though, right? Not threatening really in any way. At one point he has a bunch of ladies in a pool and he keeps complaining to Siegfried, the guy with the hook, because he comes in, oh no, he killed all of our guys again. He's like, what do you think of my mobile or what? And then he's complaining. He goes, I'm so tired. Who is this guy? How is he a bad guy at all?
Was that Bob Fosse with he's directing the my swimming mobile?
That's what I'm saying is he's like, look at my masterpiece.
Right.
And he's like, just got a bunch of women in a pool and they're not even synchronized.
No, not at all.
It's just a bunch of hot Filipino chicks. Yeah, a bunch of hot Filipino chicks just moving their hands and like just spinning around. And he's like, this is so incredible.
Let me get back to my masterpiece.
He's like, I don't have time to think about Frank's land right now. I've got these women in this pool.
And I'm not even going to poke you with this really pointy stick. I'm just going to let you go. No discipline at all.
I think he's also wearing a bathrobe in that scene. It's
he is.
Weird.
He's got those weird long V-neck.
And it's his office.
Dress.
He's
wearing a dress, actually.
He's wearing a muumuu. he's a skinny guy wearing a muumuu. It's creepy. Joe, who is Siegfried or Sigmund? Who is this weird Harry Knowles looking guy with a hook for a hand?
Harry Knowles. That's a callback, right? He's just like the head henchman trying to actually coordinate the muscle to take over the farm. He just really like some kind of weird, slimy, scummy dude. And Venarius doesn't even want to talk to him, right? He tells us, like, don't talk to Mr. Venarius. Talk to me is what Parker says. He's just a little weaselly dude.
Parker is kind of like his right-hand man. We always get the right-hand man.
Speaking, he didn't have a right hand.
Yeah. Manster, eventually, after many failed attempts at wresting the land from Frank, Venarius determines that Frank has a ninja working for him. So he decides the only thing you do when someone has a ninja working for them is you go to a ninja broker and or ninja agent. Is this a thing?
That's it, right. You got to get your own ninja. He goes to a guy who I guess was a talent agent of some sort.
That's what I'm thinking.
He was a talent agent. He had talent posters on the wall. So this is in the Philippines, right? Or is he in Japan now?
Japan, I think.
Oh, Japan, right.
So he goes to Japan, and he's got a bunch of pictures of like Japanese people and movie stars on the wall. And right in the middle of all of it is a poster for The Changeling, one of my favorite all-time movies with George C. Scott.
Just sitting right there.
Poster for The Changeling in the middle of all this Japanese stuff. It's so good.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's got to get his own, and he gets Hasagawa. I don't because he saw his film reel.
Yeah, well, remember, Hasagawa has himself, like actors have headshots and like, they're whatever they call all that stuff.
Ninja for hire.
He's got a ninja for hire film reel of him murdering people. It's fucking.
He also does the demo, like in the beginning of the movie, he does the weapons demo, then he redoes the weapons demo.
Right. It was pretty good, that demo.
Apparently that got cut out in England, I saw. They had to edit that out because it's illegal to have those weapons.
Well, yeah, because in England everybody's headbutting each other, and they probably if they had nunchucks there, they'd probably be smacking each other in their fucking in their fucking teeth and shit, making it worse. All right, now eat my fucking nunchuck, mate. All
I'm
right,
not sure if that was British or
it was something.
Australian.
Yeah, this might have been Australia.
It was a little both, mate. Little both. All right, so he hires himself a ninja, and Hasegawa comes over, and he kidnaps what's Susan George's name? Marianne. Kidnaps Marianne and kills Frank. Boy, oh boy, does he fuck Frank up. At one point, cuts Frank's arm with his sword. Then he shoves Frank's head into a like stone, like kind of fence type thing. So his head's jammed in there. And then jams his arm through and then pulls his arm back and breaks it in half. And then pulls him back out again. And then I think, how does he kill him? He stabs him?
Well, the ninja, he got hit with a couple of stars, right? He was running away. Is that right?
Hits him with some stars, and then I think he stabs him through the heart.
Yeah.
He also, this ninja, like ninjas are supposed to be known for their stealth and everything. He is like a meth head on crack setting buildings on fire. He's like fucking yelling and dancing, and he's very non-ninja like, but he burns this fucking place down. Cole gets there too late. Marianne's gone. And now Cole's like, this is the Batman moment. Because you don't realize it to this point, but we haven't seen Cole fucking suit up since the first scene. He's just been wearing like some tight fucking jeans.
Yeah.
Some nice like white fucking slacks.
He's got the Robert Plant look going on.
Come from the land of the Philippines. Katana of the gods. So he suits up, and now he's heading to go fucking find Marianne, where I'm going to say Vesuvius. What is it? Venovius? What is it?
Venarius.
Venarius.
Kind of like Daenerys from Game of Thrones.
Okay, Venarius. I don't remember how he figures it out, but he knows that Venarius has taken her to one of those places that we always see in movies like Kickboxer and Bloodsport that must litter the Philippines. They're like weird little stadiums where people kick each other.
You know what it is? What I read? It's a cockfighting arena.
Is it really?
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. There's like 7,000 seats there. Like these people. Okay. Anyways, I don't want to get into it. We might have listeners in the Philippines. We love you.
There's cockfighting Coliseum in Puerto Rico. Every time I go, we drive by it on the side of the highway. It's like a mini Coliseum.
Really?
Yeah.
That's mean shit. Don't get into cockfighting, kids. Don't go look at it. Don't watch it. That's all bullshit.
Yeah, seriously.
Just eat those fuckers, but don't watch them. Don't watch them eat each other and murder each other.
Somebody else cuts them when they bleed. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not your problem. So he shows up, and now we have essentially what's rolling into the final battle between him and Shokuzugi. But before we get there, we have a bunch of like white suited fucking henchmen that have to be killed in various ways. Joe, what are some of the weapons that we get to see? Because this is it. This is like full on like 11-year-old in 1984 boner time for any kid that had the ninja magazines in their 4th grade class. What do we get to see him kill some motherfuckers with?
Well, first off, why did he show up to the place in the back of Venarius's limo?
Yeah.
He shows up, just the ninjas sitting in the back of the car.
It was weird, yeah. It was weird.
And they come out, he's killing all these people. Well, pretty much he went through the whole gamut of the weapons, right? Everything but what's that thing you swing? But the tacks, the sword, the blow darts, the bow and arrow, he just almost every weapon he had. But the tacks to the face were probably my favorite, not more than the stars.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
The tacks to the face were good.
He throws them behind him. Yep.
Yeah.
The part where he's flipping the sai and those two guys, the black guy's like, "What is this turkey doing, brother?" And the other guy's like, the other guy's like, "What is this jazz?" And then he just throws the sais into their guts. Manster, the meanest kill of all of these is, why did he have to shoot like 8 fucking nails into that one guy's stomach? The guy was clearly already dying. He blows 2 in, and the guy's like starting to like slide down the wall, and then he just keeps.
I'm telling you, he loves to murder.
He does.
It's all about the murder.
Oh man! So we get to the final bit. He kills Mr. Parker. Mr. Parker brings out Marianne, and he doesn't
Isn't
actually
Mr. Parker like holding
a gun to her.
Yeah.
And he says to Venarius that if you don't have Mr. Parker, let her go. I'll kill him. Venarius is like, well, who told you I give a fuck about Mr. Parker? Shoots him himself.
Yeah.
Mr. Parker's dying words are, his dying words are like, but sir, why? And he fucking dies. And then, like, very kind of anticlimactically, but it had to be done because we have to get to Sho Kosugi, Venarius just gets a fucking star to the gut. Like, he goes to shoot Cole, and Cole just fucking flips a star, buries it in that dude's fucking nipple.
And it's right around there,
right there.
Somewhere in the chest.
He bisects his nipple in two, and he just dies. Now, Joe...
It's a long, drawn-out death, too.
It's a long, drawn-out death, for sure. Joe, what is this? Hasegawa? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Hasegawa shows up now, and we get full-on ninja battle. Joe, do you like this ninja battle? Is this a worthy ninja battle for you?
It's a little bit slower than I remember. And the worst part is I watched it as an adult like 15 years ago, and I thought it was better than it was. But my favorite part is when Cole just starts doing backflips for no reason.
Yeah.
It's like, let me do my gymnast routine, but you're not even attacking me. So it was a little bit slow. I don't think either. At least I know that Franco Nero doesn't have any martial arts skills. His kicks are always low, right, when he's fighting. They kind of left that other stuntman in there.
Question for you guys. How well do you think he hid the fact that Nero's got no martial arts skill and is old and can't really move around too well?
I think they did actually pretty good job, but I think it's probably clear that most of it is some other dude in that suit. But you know what? Like, if you're gonna do it, you got his face obscured, so that works. It doesn't work when it's a movie, or at least didn't always work when someone's face is like out. Because then all of a sudden, I hate to say it, but all of a sudden the character with the short haircut, when it goes to an action scene, has like a fro, or there's always something glaring. In this one, because his face is wrapped up totally but his eyes, I think
whatever.
You could do whatever you want, and it worked for me. Did you think so, Master?
I feel like they did a pretty good job with hiding that fact.
Yeah.
And they also gave him, the kind of moves he could do, elbow to the face and the fist and stuff like that. He could do some of those moves. So
the problem when he was didn't have a mask on, like I said, his kicks were like he could barely get it above his knees.
Yeah.
But his fighting was perfectly fine, and he did all his random moves that look like special death punch, choke moves. So it worked out. But I think maybe they had the other guy that they fired might have been a better choice.
I think so too.
Mike Stone. A weird part of this movie I just want to jump back to when he kidnaps Marianne is when Hasegawa kidnaps Marianne is he's holding her from behind. He's not groping her tits, so he doesn't really give a shit about that. But she elbows him in the ribs and he lets go. Like, shouldn't ninjas be able to take and get elbow from the ribs from like a smaller woman? Like,
yeah, the one person that gets away from him.
Yeah. Nobody else gets away from him. Marianne elbows him in the fucking ribs, and he's like, "Ah, chihuahua." I don't know. I didn't feel like that wored. So we get to the end of the fight with Hasegawa and Cole, and here's how it ends. The swords have been drawn. I think Cole has lost his sword. Hasegawa goes to stab Cole with his katana, and Cole does the awesome move whenever it's done in a movie. I love it. He catches it in his hands. He does have gloved hands on, so it's a little bit less bullshitty than some of these other movies.
It's always a ninja thing. There's happens in just about every canon movie.
Oh yeah, he catches this fucking blade, and he stops it from entering his body. He holds on to it, and then he kind of like does like a move where he gets some leverage. He flips Hasegawa over. Hasegawa lands on the ground, and then
backwards over his head, right?
Over his head, and then backwards over his head, he fucking stabs him through the heart or through the.
Oh right, because he's holding the staff or whatever spear,
the sword. Yeah,
and then he flips backwards, like a blind stab. I mean, he didn't see what he was doing.
Yeah,
he knew he was there.
I like that actually.
That's a good move.
It stuck out to me when I was a little kid. That's like what I remembered moving forward. Like I always liked that stab back.
Yeah, no, it was actually pretty cool. Hasegawa has, of course, the ninja / Japanese moment of he can't die without honor, even though this motherfucker has no honor. Like, he tells Cole, he's like, you are a ninja, you have won with honor, but let me die with honor. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, you murdered like a bunch of like fucking innocent people. You can't die with honor. But of course, Cole has to fucking, has to give him his, his wish. So he cuts his fucking head off. And that's it. We go back. Marianne clearly wants him just to move in and take over for Frank. Her pussy is so wet for this guy. Let's just be honest about it. And she's like, will you write? And he's like, I'll be back. So he leaves with Dollar and they're going to go off to whatever. Now they end up at the little fucking weird airport at the end. And Master, who do they run into at the airport?
They run into him and Dollars, right?
Yeah.
And they run into Siegfried. Siegfried comes over and I guess is saying something until he recognizes.
It's like he works at Enterprise Rent-A-Car or something.
Yeah, right.
He's
right.
a porter.
Yeah.
He's a red cap. He's a porter.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
He's moved on from head henchman.
So Dollar and him have the conversation about, we don't kill, we eliminate, and it's only for self-defense. Yeah, but sure. we're gonna make a exception for Siegfriid. Now
I could make an exception.
It's played for laughs too.
It's played for laughs. It's definitely like got this kind of like whimsical feel to it. And then one of my favorite bits is I was telling Manster this before we recorded. Is I am doing for the Countdown podcast, our good friends Paul and Wayne at the Countdown. Every year they have 2 letterboxed scavenger hunts they do. And I'm doing the advanced one. It's 26 different movies, first time watches, and there's different criteria. And these are not easy to fill. Like a lot of them you have to look at and go, okay, I specifically have to watch a movie directed by William Friedkin is one of them. And it's got to be one I've never seen. But the first one on the list and these have to be first time watches. And as I said, Enter the Ninja appears to be a first time watch for me. So the first one on the list is a movie where the character breaks the fourth wall. And the very last shot of Enter the Ninja is Cole walking towards the camera, a little bit off center. He turns his head right at the camera and winks at the fucking camera. And I just filled one of my slots
right
without even knowing I was going to do it.
And you filled your jockey shorts.
Oh, I totally did. So that is 1981s and or 82s and or 97s, wherever it got released. Enter the Ninja. Joe, let's talk about the BO, the box office.
Hey, sing it, baby, I got your money. Sing it, girls. I said, hey, just sing it right now. I got your money.
Okay, all I could really find was about 15 million in box office. And it was from that Wikipedia article that referenced Black Belt Magazine. It was some ninja article. So it had an actual journalistic reference, but that's about all I could find. I don't know if Lloyd found anything different.
No, I saw some videos and there was in a video it said 15 million as well.
So.
Did we mention the budget earlier was 1.5?
Yep, roughly.
All right.
So it made its money.
Made its money back. Excellent. Okay. All right. Do you have any of the movies from 1981 or?
So Box Office Mojo only had like one per year, unless I don't know if I missed the wrong spot, but with that weekend, so I chose October 23rd because that seemed to be the first American showing somewhere in Arizona, parts unknown, Yuma, I don't know, Deadwood or
Tempe, Arizona.
Why am I spacing? OK Corral.
Tombstone.
Tombstone. So there was a movie that came out that weekend called Silence of the North, which it has Ellen Burstyn. It's some explorer movie. Never heard of it. And that seemed to be the number one movie of the week. But then the next week was Halloween 2, which made about 15, 20 times what the Silence of the North went. So
we know that because we've heard of Halloween 2 and nobody's ever heard of Silence of the North.
Is that how we judge that?
Yeah, we judge it by in 2024 going Silence of the North. Yeah, that's how we do that. Master, do you have anything further on the box office?
Yeah, I do have some stuff for the year of 1981.
Hit us up.
I'll hit you up pretty quickly. 10, Endless Love. 9, The Great Muppet Caper.
Yeah.
8, Bustin' Loose. 7, History of the World Part 1. Awesome movie. 6, Excalibur. 5, The Four Seasons. 4, For Your Eyes Only. 3, The Cannonball Run.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2, I just had this on this weekend. That's a Fact, Jack Stripes. And number 1, 1981, Superman 2.
All right. So that's the year of 1981. Let's rate this thing.
And a guy who spent 6 weeks in the bathroom got a 91.
All right. 0 being the worst thing ever, 5 being the best thing ever, quarter and half scale optional. Professor Joe, you're the ninja guy. You're the canon guy. You love all this stuff. What do you give Enter the Ninja?
Ninja?
Get me my black ninja.
Yes, where's my ninja? So yeah, nostalgia, of course, is always big with me. I must admit, going into it, I considered it my second favorite canon ninja film after American Ninja. I think after this, it might have dropped down to third after American Ninja 2. American Ninja and American Ninja 2 are pretty good. And like I said, the only two without Shokasugi. But this one, I still remember it fondly. I will always like the fact that it was the first one I ever saw, and I was like, what the hell's going on? This is the first rated R one, right? So I saw The Master, then all of a sudden this is like, there's blood everywhere. Back in 85 when I watched it, not really that much blood now. But I'll go with 3.5. I know I'm going way high. I just do it.
All right, Joe's going high. I'll go a little bit lower. I'll go next.
I left you speechless briefly.
No. I've done enough of these shows to always expect something weird to come out of somebody's mouth. I enjoyed this. It was fun, and there were definitely moments of this is so ridiculous it's fun, but it's not on the same level of Ninja 3: The Domination, which is like really fucking stupid, but really fucking fun. That one, as me and Joey mentioned on the episode, there's a exorcism subplot. It's about a woman being possessed by a dead ninja. This one has some pretty good ninja action in the end. The beginning's actually pretty good too, but it almost takes you out of it when the situation becomes so fucking stupid that, like, oh, he really didn't kill all those guys he just killed. And the guy he beheaded had a paper mache head of himself somehow, robot head. Franco Nero is fine. He's a good looking guy. He's very like my mom probably would have like gotten excited about him in 1981. I get it. I understand. I'll give them credit for a couple of things, as we said before. The suit work is good. You don't really go, oh, this looks terrible. Any of that. And the dubbing is actually good. His voice, it's obvious to an extent, but it's more obvious if you know that Franco Nero, basically has a Chef Boyardee accent in real life. I'm Italian. I can say that. But yeah, so like it doesn't sound like some movies do where it's like really fucking obvious or really bad. That being said, in the end, humor aside, some good ninja action, but not enough. I can't go any higher than a 2.5. I'm going to go right down the middle. I'm going to split it right down the middle. I definitely enjoyed this more, though. If we were to talk about this over the Octagon, I enjoyed this more than the Octagon. Remember, Joe, that was a confusing movie, too. Like, there was a lot. He was undercover at one point, but you didn't know why. He was a retired cop, but then he seemed to be... The whole thing just didn't work out very well. It wasn't great. Manster, what do you give Enter the Ninja?
Well, I have, zero nostalgia for this or pretty much any ninja films. I've never really been a huge ninja film watcher. So if I'm going to watch something, like what was it, blood sport, the martial arts stuff, I want something a little more visceral.
Okay.
This movie felt kind of like they were just sort of finding reasons to like send ninjas in. So it didn't feel real, although, some funny stuff happened. It's definitely entertaining, but it seems to me like it's a less discerning audience, that this would appeal to, rather than someone who really likes hardcore martial arts or ninja stuff. But first, before all that, I guess I should say, I don't think casting an aging Italian white guy who's clearly too big to be a ninja, too lumbering, was really the best way to go. But once you get into the plot of the film, he's a very handsome man, and he makes it with this beautiful woman, and that's really the whole point of it. Because if it was just like an a Japanese ninja or something, she wouldn't have had that relationship. You wouldn't have had that part of the story. Wouldn't have felt real. So it works. Basically, I think it's just, I wouldn't say a bad movie, but it's not a good movie, but somehow manages to entertain. And I did like it for that. I can't even go as high as you, but I'm going to say 2, like a solid 2.
All right. So a solid 2, a 2.5, and Joe goes fucking interstellar with a 3.5.
Right.
It's cool. It's all good.
It's good.
It's all good. And you know what? We're going to do, if you enjoyed this one, the 3 of us are going to come back. We'll make a plan right now. We're going to do Revenge. We'll do Revenge. We'll finish off the trilogy in toto, because I remember loving Revenge as a kid. I just have not seen it in a long time. So we'll get to that. All right, Manster, that's it for this week. But why don't you tell everybody out there where they can find more of The Pint?
On any of your podcatchers, on the socials, Facebook and YouTube. We're The Pint, a pop culture podcast, on Instagram, in the Twitters or Threads or whatever they're called now. It's at The Pint Podcast. And on Patreon, you can become a Pint Insider, www.patreon.com/thepint.
Joe, say it.
See ya.
It's over, Johnny. It's over! Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!